Nuketown. The map's just pure chaos in a retro postcard. Dropped into Black Ops in 2010 like a surprise punch, it's been recycled more times than a fast food toy. Every Black Ops since has given it a new paint job but kept the madness. It's all crammed into a tiny nuclear test town, two houses staring each other down like they've got beef with a school bus and a van in the middle like awkward referees. You can throw a grenade at one end and hit someone's respawn point at the other, no problem. The fights are so close people probably breathe on each other more than shoot. And just when the match ends, boom. Literal nuke. Every time. They leaned all the way into speed and insanity, and somehow it's become this beloved disaster zone. Fast, simple, relentless. Nuketown's never even tried to chill. Shipment. This map's the definition of blink and you're dead. Originally meant to test mechanics, it accidentally got thrown into public lobbies and never left. It's just a shipping yard near Chernobyl, but the chaos it delivers? Ridiculous. Tiny square, containers stacked like Tetris blocks, and barely any room to breathe. Spawning in Shipment feels like being thrown into a blender with knives and no off switch. Every corner is a kill zone, every container is a risk, and the idea of safety is just a myth people tell rookies. Matches here don't unfold, they explode. And even though it's been rebuilt in nearly every Modern Warfare game since 2007, it never really changes. They knew what they had, a compact nightmare that players can't stop revisiting. It's infamous, it's broken, it's iconic, and somehow it's always back. Rust. The ultimate showdown arena, born in Modern Warfare 2 and burned into everyone's memory by 1001 versus ones that ended friendships. It's a dusty little oil yard dumped in the Urzikstan desert, but it plays like a caffeinated cage match. The whole layout circles a central tower that practically screams, "Camp here." And they do. Everyone does. Climbing it turns you into a turret, staying on the ground turns you into a target. It's built for quick fights, fast deaths, and maybe a little rage quitting on the side. Short sightlines are everywhere, but it's got just enough vertical insanity to keep you looking up while getting shot from below. Every time it comes back, it's hyped like a legendary prize fight, and honestly, it delivers. It's dusty, brutal, and compact. Rust never calms down, it just respawns and goes again. If you enjoy this type of content, please like and subscribe. Terminal. Set inside an airport where the only departure is your K/D ratio, this map landed in Modern Warfare 2 and has been flying through the franchise ever since. Zakhaev International isn't just a backdrop, it's a playground for chaos. You've got tight hallways in the terminal, an airliner you can storm into like a movie villain, and a tarmac filled with deadly hide-and-seek opportunities. Every mode feels different here. Domination gets wild near the bookstore, search and destroy turns the plane into a last stand, and the snack bar. Let's just say it's never safe to grab chips. It's balanced without being boring, and there's a reason it's always on best map lists. They didn't just build a map, they created a place players memorize, like their actual airport. And unlike real airports, terminals never delayed the action. Crash. Dropped into Call of Duty 4 like a helicopter out of luck, this map's been sticking around ever since. Set in a war-torn Middle Eastern town, it's built around a downed chopper that's practically a magnet for grenades and bad decisions. The alleyways are narrow, the interiors are cramped, and the rooftops, those are sniper paradise. You've got long lines for marksmen, but the inside spots turn every room into a close-range mess. There's this perfect balance between control and chaos, push too fast and you're toast, sit too long and someone flanks you through a stairwell you forgot existed. Apartment, courtyard, overlook, they're all hotspots with no real safe zone, and even after all these years, it still feels sharp. They didn't make Crash to be flashy, they made it tight, tactical, and tough. And somehow, it never gets old. Crossfire. This one's basically a sniper's dream wrapped in a war zone nightmare. It first hit in Call of Duty 4, and it's just a long, broken street flanked by wrecked buildings that feel like they've seen some things. Two tall anchor spots sit at opposite ends, and they're constantly at war with each other, like grumpy old neighbors with rifles. You peek out too long, and it's game over. But, even with all the long-range chaos, there's plenty happening inside. You can duck into busted-out buildings, weave through alleys, and hit flank routes that feel risky but rewarding. Every step has tension, because someone's always aiming down that main street, waiting. They designed it for those high-pressure standoffs, and it still works. Crossfire isn't just long, it's layered. You're not just moving forward, you're surviving a gauntlet where angles matter more than luck. Overgrown. This map feels like nature and war had a very messy breakup. It dropped into Call of Duty 4 looking calm with all the trees and tall grass, but that was just camouflage for how intense it gets. Set in a rural Russian village, there's a dried up river splitting the map and two bridges daring you to cross while someone's already aiming down sight. Buildings on both sides give snipers the high ground, and once they're up there, good luck moving without hearing the crack of a shot. But it's not all long-range misery. Tight barns and farmhouses turn into fast brawls if you push close. There's cover, but half of it's leaves and false hope. It's bigger than most classic maps, but still feels tight once bullets start flying. They made Overgrown to be methodical, and somehow it still punishes every single mistake. Vacant. This map's like an office building that gave up on paperwork and chose violence instead. Originally part of Call of Duty 4, it's set in an abandoned complex in Pripyat where every hallway screams ambush. You've got tight cubicles, busted walls, and narrow lanes that make you wish for just 1 second of peace. But nope, someone's always around the corner with a shotgun.
Bruh.
The outside yard offers breathing room, but not much. Snipers post up between bushes and crates, and before you can catch your breath, it's back inside to play hide and seek with bullets. The whole layout's asymmetrical, so fights shift constantly. It doesn't matter if you're running AR, SMG, or just vibes. Every part of Vacant demands quick thinking and faster reflexes. They made it gritty, claustrophobic, and unforgiving. And somehow, that messy office turned into a certified classic. Strike. This map doesn't mess around. Dropped into Call of Duty 4 and dragged back for years, it's a dusty urban battlefield that feels like it was built for pure team mayhem. There's a central plaza with a statue that ends up being the eye of every storm, surrounded by multi-story buildings, side alleys, and just enough interiors to make every approach feel dangerous. Snipers love those second-story windows, and flanking routes run under and around everything like it's a maze designed to ruin your plans. Domination gets especially spicy when teams fight for the middle like it's a sacred relic. It's not just the layout, it's how everything flows together. You're always moving, but never safe. The rhythm of Strike hits hard because they knew how to force engagement without forcing nonsense. It's tactical, brutal, and never overstays its welcome. High Rise. A construction site on top of a skyscraper isn't exactly OSHA approved, but that didn't stop Modern Warfare 2 from turning it into one of the most unforgettable maps ever. Two office buildings face off across a rooftop helipad, and there's nowhere to run without someone spotting you from a higher perch. Snipers post up across open lanes, while rushers dive into underground tunnels or jump across scaffolding like maniacs. You can even shimmy out onto the ledge of the building and sneak behind enemy lines, assuming you don't fall off like a panicked cartoon character. The pace is fast, but the vertical gameplay adds this constant pressure. Danger doesn't just come from ahead, it drops on you from above. Every route feels risky, and that's what makes it amazing. High Rise is pure intensity in the clouds, and it still plays like a thrill ride. Afghan. This one's a battlefield wrapped around a plane crash, and it hit the scene in Modern Warfare 2 with way more personality than anyone expected. Set in a canyon in Afghanistan, it's a wide-open desert map with cliffs, caves, and a wrecked C-130 as the center of attention. That plane is Chaos Central. Everyone wants it, and nobody keeps it for long. Snipers hold the cliffside like it's sacred ground, while close-range players tear through the sand dunes and bunkers trying to clear them out. The cave system underneath adds a sneaky route that turns ambushes into an art form. And yeah, it's a big map, but it's not empty. Every inch matters. You can hold down a section or sprint through it like a lunatic, and both might work. Afghan's all about balancing control and momentum, and they nailed that balance perfectly. Favela. Set in the steep hills of Rio, this map drops you into a chaotic web of rooftops, alleyways, and crumbling stairwells that never stop testing your reflexes. It debuted in Modern Warfare 2 and instantly became that map where everyone's either above you or sneaking behind you. The verticality is no joke. Players are jumping across shacks, sliding through buildings, and popping out of nowhere like it's a parkour demo gone rogue. There's a soccer field in the middle, but no one's there to score goals unless it's with grenades. Snipers can lock down taller buildings, but tight corners make it just as easy for shotguns to dominate. It supports every kind of playstyle, but demands that you adapt fast or get wrecked. They built Favela like a labyrinth that punishes hesitation and rewards aggression. It's fast, unpredictable, and constantly moving. Summit. They took a freezing mountaintop and turned it into a non-stop firefight. First seen in Black Ops, Summit throws players into a snowy research station where slipping off the edge is a real threat and cover is just a suggestion. The control room's a tight nightmare, while the exterior catwalks offer high ground that feels powerful until someone beams you from across the map. It's a maze of winding halls, metal walkways, and cable cars that never move but always get in the way. Fights happen everywhere at once. Inside, outside, above, below. The elevated routes make spawn traps brutal if one side grabs control, but there's just enough back doors and side paths to keep it from being a guaranteed steamroll. It plays fast without feeling reckless, and every lane has a purpose. They knew what they were doing with Summit, cold, chaotic, and constantly tense. Raid. Dropping into a luxury mansion in Los Angeles never felt this aggressive. Introduced in Black Ops 2, Raid's a sleek 3-lane map wrapped in rich scenery, modern art, sports cars, a fountain that's somehow always covered in gunfire. The pool looks relaxing until someone dives in and starts throwing flashbangs. Long driveways on the sides give snipers and assault rifles space to breathe, while the central courtyard turns into a blender of grenades and panic. It's got that perfect mix of indoor-outdoor transitions, with fights moving from hallways to basketball courts in seconds. The design's so tight that nothing ever feels wasted. Every object, every line of sight, every flank route has a purpose. It's not just good looking, it's brutally efficient. They built Raid like a showroom for map balance, and somehow made a millionaire's mansion the site of non-stop gunfights. Standoff. This map dropped in Black Ops 2 and immediately carved out its own legacy with a layout that just feels right. Set in a small border town between China and Kyrgyzstan, it's got a perfect mix of open streets, tight alleyways, and second-story windows that become sniper hotspots instantly. The center intersection always turns into a war zone, but clever players know how to dip through side routes, cut through buildings, and catch enemies off guard. It supports every playstyle without ever favoring one, which is rare. You can run shotgun in the alleys, hold long lines from the farmhouse, or pick people off from upstairs with a DMR. It's balanced, but not boring, tactical, but not stiff. They designed Standoff to feel familiar fast, and that comfort is exactly why it keeps showing up in every greatest maps list. Hijacked. Set on a luxury yacht in international waters, this map takes the idea of no escape and cranks it to full volume. It debuted in Black Ops 2 and became a 6 vs 6 classic almost overnight. Bow to stern, every inch is a fight. The top deck turns into a mess of shotguns and stun grenades, while the interior hallways feel like a maze built for ambushes. There's even a hidden lower path through the engine room that connects both sides, letting flanks hit hard if timed right. It's tight, symmetrical, and absolutely relentless. You're either pressing forward or getting pushed back, and spawns flip faster than you can reload. Hijacked's chaos never lets up, but that's the appeal. They didn't overcomplicate it, just clean lanes, vertical skirmishes, and non-stop combat. A floating death trap dressed up like a vacation. Stylish, brutal, and always busy. Dome. Introduced in Modern Warfare 3, this compact radar outpost is a masterclass in fast, frantic fights. Set in a military base with a busted dome building at its core, it's all tight corridors, open yards, and catwalks that make every angle dangerous. The central building draws in players like it's made of magnets, with rooftop spots that let you lock down lanes if you can survive long enough to use them. Fights erupt instantly, and there's barely time to catch your breath before someone respawns behind you. It's built for non-stop aggression, and the close quarters design means gunfights are constant and brutal. Whether it's team games or free-for-alls, Dome makes sure you're always engaged. They didn't waste space, they packed intensity into every corner. And even years later, it still plays like a highlight reel waiting to happen. No filler, just pure mayhem. Hardhat. Born in Modern Warfare 3, this map turns a messy construction site into a full-speed brawl. It's small, dusty, and packed with concrete pipes, steel beams, and half-built structures that double as perfect cover or traps. Every route feels like a choke point, tight, exposed, and ready to ruin your streak. The unfinished buildings give just enough verticality to create ambushes, while long sightlines down the central lane keep marksmen busy. But this map thrives in close quarters, where corner peaks and sliding around debris decide the fight. There's always someone around the bend, always a flashbang waiting. It's chaotic without being random, and the layout keeps players rotating constantly. They built Hardhat like a maze of incomplete walls and danger zones, and somehow it works beautifully. It's fast, gritty, and full of fights that start before you're even ready. Castle. This map rolled out with World at War and brought players into the fortified halls of Shuri Castle in Okinawa. It's a sprawling layout of stone courtyards, wooden interiors, and narrow passages that echo with every footstep. The elevation changes let players hold power positions on the ramparts while flanking through the side halls, and foliage keeps things unpredictable. Long-range fights erupt across the open courtyards, but once you're inside, it's all close quarters tension. There's no wasted space, just layers of movement, old-school angles and cover that looks cool until it gets you lit up. The setting blends historic architecture with combat flow that's still sharp years later. They brought it back in Vanguard for a reason. It holds up. Castle's not just nostalgic, it's strategically rich. Brutal when you're pinned down, but incredibly satisfying when you take control of its key zones. Combine. This sleek little chaos box dropped into Black Ops 3 and immediately hit players with high-speed vertical madness. Set in a futuristic sustainability research center in the Egyptian Sahara, it's compact, bright, and designed for movement-heavy mayhem. Wall runs along the flanks let you dodge gunfire like a sci-fi ninja, while the central lane stays hot with non-stop shootouts. The tight interior labs force quick reactions, and the outside areas bait risky plays that can either look genius or get you deleted instantly. There's barely time to breathe. Someone's always sliding through a doorway or bouncing off a wall with a submachine gun. Combine thrives on aggression, timing, and unpredictable routes. They didn't waste time with complexity. It's fast, clean, and lethal. Every second counts, and every corner feels like a trap or an opportunity. It's futuristic, yes, but Combine's all adrenaline. Fringe. This map rolled into Black Ops 3 with that perfect mix of old-school grit and new-school movement. Set in a dusty, abandoned rail yard, it's all about sharp sightlines and risky rotations. Long lanes down the tracks make it a dream for snipers and assault rifles, but those barns and side buildings? Pure flanking gold. There's a gas station that turns into a war zone, and a central house that always seems to be holding a fight. The vertical spots let wall runners pull off flashy plays, but nothing ever feels too out of reach. It's balanced in a way that lets every playstyle work if you're fast, smart, or just lucky. They dropped Fringe into the lineup without overcomplicating anything. It just flows. And even though it looks rundown, the map's design stays razor sharp. Simple, deadly, and always moving forward. Shoot House. This one's a straight-up brawl factory. Dropped into Modern Warfare 2019, Shoot House is a no-nonsense training facility built for speed, aggression, and non-stop firefights. It's got a clean 3-lane layout with a central street that turns into a bullet storm seconds after the match starts. The side lanes snake through offices and tight corners, and there's just enough vertical action to keep things spicy without turning it into parkour school. Every building is either a choke point or a trap, and you're never more than 2 seconds away from someone aiming at your face. It's one of the smallest 6 versus 6 maps, and they designed it that way on purpose to make sure you're always fighting. No fluff, no downtime, just pure action. Shoot House doesn't mess around. It's a compact chaos machine that rewards quick thinking and relentless pressure. Hackney Yard. This industrial wasteland dropped into Modern Warfare 2019 like a concrete slap. Set along the River Thames, it's all warehouses, grimy office blocks, and cargo containers stacked like someone's trying to win at real-life Tetris. The layout's medium-sized but plays tight with close-range fights inside buildings and brutal sightlines outside. The yard in the middle turns into a war zone instantly, while upper windows give players control if they're quick enough to grab them. You've got transitions everywhere, interior to exterior, ground to second floor, chaos to more chaos. And the sound design? Footsteps echo like you're stomping through a trash can. It's gritty, fast, and unrelenting, with angles that reward smart positioning and punish hesitation. Night mode adds a whole extra layer for those who want it darker and sweatier. Hackney Yard doesn't feel clean, and that's exactly the point. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.